Whoops, we forgot one. Hey everyone, welcome back. Supposed
Hi,
to play
everyone.
that. Supposed to play that disclaimer right after. We'll have them edit that right on in for the on demand. We have missed you guys. I feel like it's been a while
It
since
has.
we've been on.
What's it been like 2 weeks?
Yeah, no, maybe 3. We were traveling.
We were.
Yeah, there was a lot of travel in there, and then my birthday. So I definitely took my birthday off. Sorry, not sorry. But we're very excited for tonight's episode, which is innovation in government contracting.
Yes.
So
I'm
we're
very
going to go.
about it.
You're about it?
I'm
You're
all
here?
about it. I love a good SBIR. I love innovation. I love something fun. I like new stuff. And the government's like really excited about it and it's surprising us. So it's like, it's kind of excited. I'm loving it. I'm feeling it. I'm here for it. Let's talk about it.
We're going to talk about a few different non-traditional contracting methods tonight, to include SBIR, STTRs, and OTAs. I know some of those acronyms you guys have heard before, but a lot of you who are, for example, in IT may not realize how these programs might be able to help. And for those of you Govies joining us, they might be non-traditional ways to get these new solutions built. So I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So first thing I want to say before we dive in, and we do have one special segment for our LinkedIn audience. We promised you guys we're going to go over all the Marvel contract vehicles that are out right now. So stay tuned for that in a minute. But I want to make sure that everybody realizes that innovation in plain terms is the government seeking fresh solutions to their complex problems, right? And small businesses getting non-dilutive funding, which means no equity taken, to develop this new technology. So think artificial intelligence. Where do you think that AI money is going? So we're going to cover the small business innovative research, the small business technology transfer, and other transaction authorities, what they are, some quick facts and figures about them, and how you can leverage them. You'll get program basics, success examples, and tips to navigate, where to find them, things like that. For business owners, this is really more about accessing funding and government, I kind of explained already. But before we get into those sort of types of funding, let's talk about the latest and greatest. And what are they? What are the 2 or 3?
Sniper. I was sitting here like I'm feeling it. All right, so somebody's obviously a Marvel fan,
Yeah.
but I was like definitely a dude, definitely a veteran, but obviously. So SBIRs. I always think of them as like innovation research and development programs, right? You have an idea, if it's great and it passed proof of concept, the government's going to fund you to make it, right? Especially if you can showcase to them how it benefits them, how it can be commercialized, militarized, all the things, right? What's better than that? It's like your own VC funding, which is the government. But recently, we have seen like this onset where companies have struggled to get their innovations funded in a quick amount of time. And we know that innovation is flying out the door, right? As soon as we got ChatGPT, they had ChatGPT. We're at ChatGPT 5, I think, now. So it's growing faster than we can get a hold of it, which the government realizes we're a little behind on the times, as you can tell by the everything that has to do with the government. So we are seeing this transition, this like amazing transition of vehicles being produced out of nowhere. They weren't even forecasted. We're holding off on certain opportunities like maps and things like that, and we are funding other opportunities where we actually feel like we can create growth. We're seeing that with DIU, the Defense Innovation Unit, creating on-ramp programs, not only internationally, but locally, nationally, and pulling in small businesses that have great ideas. And that's a contract that recently came through for 40 million. So small businesses all over the US can give their ideas to DIU and essentially respond to SBIRs and get funding. And DIU is that connector. So that's one that's recently come out, and we're going to see more and more innovation hubs come out in every state. So that's going to be huge. Look out for one in your area. The other one is Shield. Shield is not a SBIR, it's an IDIQ, but it, well,
And tell me it didn't come out of nowhere.
really, I'd never seen it.
What it stands for is the best. Hang on. I
It's
looked this up
hilarious.
today. Give me a second. It's almost as if they threw a bunch of words together
Oh, yeah,
to
scalable.
make it fit and make that be the acronym. Hang on one second. Where'd it go?
I have it if you want it.
Say it. Say it out loud.
Scalable, homeland, innovative, enterprise, layered defense. Take a bunch of words and just throw them together.
Throw them together and make, as long as it says Shield when we're done, we're good.
Just make it work.
Tell us about the Shield. I mean, I'm looking at it, but tell us what you think about
Shield is a very easy task order based IDIQ to get onto. All you need is past performance. In some of the areas that I believe it's 7 areas right now that you have to showcase you have experience in. So it could be commercial, it could be federal. Obviously, they prefer federal, and there's some, some qualifications within it. But essentially, Shield is a new proposed contracting vehicle that is changing the acquisition framework. It's from the Missile Defense Agency. It's supposed to enable development, procurement, and fielding capabilities under the Golden Dome initiative. All right, so it's $151 billion over 10 years. $151 billion, guys.
Say it one more time. How much?
$151 billion money. Yeah, we're like, there's no money. I was like, there's plenty of money.
Plenty of money to go around, guys. And these are the areas that Shield's targeting. I know a lot of y'all are in cybersecurity that watch us, and thank you for watching us and joining us today, by the way. Integration, assembly, architecture and development, disruptive technologies, prototyping, R&D, like it's all here.
Yep. And right now it's in a solicitation phase for October 10th. So if you are not on it, if you are not bidding on it, but those task orders you can provide value, you better be bidding on it. It's very easy. Obviously, a lot of the competition is going to be on the task order level, but at this point in time, it is a multi-award IDIQ. And what they're doing here is they're designing to address airborne threats across all phases of flights, including ballistic, hypersonic, and cruise missiles. They're looking for you to cover a broad set of mission areas. And those were the mission areas that we just showcased. Those are about 7 of them. But ultimately, they're looking for their greatest to come on and provide solutions. Now, part of the Golden Dome program, it's the larger vision for a nationwide missile defense, right? Because this is under the Missile Defense Agency. So they're looking for space-based sensors, interceptor architects. I mean, we're talking about
really lasers, finally.
Yeah, we're like getting to Star Wars at this point. Everyone's like, the aliens are coming. And I was like, now we got to fight them. Shield. That's me and my nerd hat. But yes, it's getting very, very interesting. And it's supposed to be here to provide rapid deployment and development, which I am all for. So it's about getting your innovation, funding it through OTAs, through transaction vehicles that'll make it faster to hit the market and be able to be utilized in defense. So we're seeing that technology hit rapid development constantly, pushing it through the TRL levels. If you're at a 1, how are we going to get you to a 10? So moving the needle essentially in technology and helping us in our defenses. So I'm very excited. Very excited to see it.
Definitely an exciting time. I have to say, I hope it was a mistake, but one of the large IDIQs I saw come out earlier, or was it yesterday? It was due, literally, it was posted one day and responses were due the next day. I hope that was just a mistake.
That's a little too fast.
I was going to say, I hope that's just a mistake. But if you guys...
That wasn't the only one I saw that did that.
Oh, man.
I was doing some sourcing today, and I noticed a couple of opportunities come out yesterday that for today, and I was just like, I'm very confused. But I'm pretty sure that's not the case. So I anticipate that'll get addressed when they realize nobody bid on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you are interested in in the shield, make sure you add, or that the last one we just looked at, make sure that you add that NAICS code onto your SAM. Just avoid a protest, not because it'll get held up, but because we're small here and every dollar counts. Just add it to your SAM. It takes 10 minutes. All right, next segment.
Sniper.
Oh, sniper. I'm sorry.
Sniper is cool.
Sniper.
It's a cool name.
Yeah.
Space domain awareness. That's more Star Wars. There you go. Novel innovation pipeline for enhanced resilience. What does that mean? That means that the government is looking for a multi-award prototype to support the efforts of innovative software tools to improve space domain awareness. Our space. They are looking for essentially anything that's a product around TRL 8 to 9. And when we say TRL, it's just your technology readiness level, right? If it's essentially able to develop and field through rapid prototyping, if the tools are maturing and ready and capable to handle space challenges, this is the U.S. Space Force alongside U.S. Air Force, alongside SpaceWorks and Space System Command. So you have a broad range of openings of different agencies that you get to work with and create really fun, innovative tools for space defense. It's really, really cool.
That is really cool. We're seeing quite a few opportunities that are first of its kind, at least that I've seen on the open market anyway, which is very exciting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Any other IDIQs before we dive in?
All day, but no. Those are my two favorites. That's all I'm talking about.
All right. So the first of our innovation programs tonight are Small Business Innovative Research. These programs are not new. They've been out for a while. I think SBIR was created in 1982 to evolve small business in federal R&D, research and development. It's often referred to as America's Seed Fund. As you can see, it's still at the top of the page. And this, for reference, is SBIR.gov. So feel free to check it out. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how it works. So by law, there are 11 federal agencies that participate, and they reserve a portion of that external R&D budget, usually around 3.2% for SBIR awards. So in practice, what that looks like is roughly $3.5 billion awarded to small businesses annually through the SBIR program. Each agency kind of runs its own competitive solicitation process, seeking solutions to specific topics. And those topics, or that program is broken up into 3 phases. So you have to have less than 500 employees, and you have to be a for-profit company. Other than that, you can apply. So it's a small business only arena for federal innovation. And the 3 phases, so a little bit more in depth. The first phase can be, say, 50K to 250K is pretty common. Phase 1 is the feasibility study, which lasts about 6 to 12 months. Phase 2, R&D and prototyping. So this is when it's actually kind of coming to life, and that can last up to 2 years.
We call that the show me phase.
Show me phase, yeah. Often about 750,000 to maybe up to 1 million, capped at 2 million as of 2024. But that's pretty much fully funding the prototype development.
Right.
And then phase 3 is commercialization. So there's really no SBIR funds in that phase. The company is really seeking to commercialize the innovation in the marketplace or via government procurement. I've had a lot of phase 3 folks come to me and say, oh, I've been working on this for a couple of years now, and now the government wants to buy it. The Air Force is interested. I don't know what to do. How do I sell it to them? So when you get into this, if you happen to be an R&D person, make sure you're also going through the procurement readiness steps too, to know what you're going to do when you get out of phase 3.
Yep, very much so, because that is your deploy and sell it phase.
Yes, because what are we doing all this work for if we're not going to make money, right? After it's built.
Very much so. Very much so. So that's the real payoff. That's the end result that you're trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm. And DoD is the largest SBIR agency who accounts for more than half of the funding. So they put a big chunk of their money into the program. And the benefit to the business for SBIR is that you get to retain the intellectual property, which is not necessarily the case in the STTR, which we'll talk about that in a little moment. So think of like SBIR as the government Shark Tank. Agencies invest in bold ideas from small businesses, but unlike TV, you don't have to give up the equity for any of the funding. So I've had some contractors utilize some of that funding to end up cyber compliant with DoD's cybersecurity standards, especially when DoD is interested in buying that product. It helps. All right, our next one is small business technology transfer. Have you ever written any of these, Natasha?
I actually have not.
No, she's done plenty of SBIRs, I know.
I got a million SBIRs, but I never get those. I even get white papers for unsolicited proposals, but never these.
Yeah, we're going to talk about white papers here shortly because that plays a big role in the research and development industry, which is this. I mean, you're going to respond with a white paper to a lot of these opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So the STTR is basically the sister program to the SBIR or SBIR. It was established in 92 to connect small businesses with research institutions. So that's the biggest primary difference is that in STTR, your small business must partner with a U.S. research institution. That could be a university, that could be a federal lab. But by rule, small businesses must do at least 40% of the work and the research institution at least 30. So that leaves you 30% that you could effectively subcontract out. FTTR is a much smaller program in scale. There's only about 5 or 6 agencies that currently participate. I know, and basically they're the agencies with the largest R&D budgets, or what's left of them: DoD, NIH, DOE, NASA, NSF, and USDA.
Yeah.
What else is important about STTR? If you have roots in academic research, so if you come from academia, you have relationships in academia, STTR may be a great way. It encourages spinoffs and commercialization of university innovation. So I spoke to a university student earlier this week that has a degree in computer systems engineering. So shout out to you. You know who you are. If you're listening tonight, this part might be for you. It might be something that you're interested in. So the goal is pretty much the same as in the SBIR program, and that's to get a viable product or solution. But STTR at least acknowledges that sometimes the best innovation comes from combining small businesses' agility with universities' research depth. I have had some folks shy away from STTR because of the requirement of the involvement for the university. But when SBIR doesn't always offer you that opportunity to fit in that little box, STTR might be an option.
Very much so.
And then my personal favorite, last but certainly not least, let me switch my screen here. We're going to share this tab instead. All right, so other transaction authorities. These guys have been around for a while, but nobody ever really has talked about them.
No, and they're increasing.
They are. They're
everywhere.
A different animal. Yes.
Like, there's an OTA, and they're like, "What's an OTA?"
And everybody's trying to look OTA on sam.gov, wondering why they can't find it. It's not a grant. It's not a traditional contract, but it is a special agreement mechanism that federal agencies will use to acquire R&D and prototypes. So research, prototypes. Those are the 2 types of OTAs. I'll just go ahead and put that up on the screen.
Yep.
And what we love about OTAs is they bypass the FAR. So they don't necessarily follow traditional contracting rules. They can tend to be more flexible. But they have been around since about 1958 during the space race, when NASA was granted other transaction authority to cut through the red tape and quickly partner with industry and academia. That flexibility helped us in the US develop space technology a lot faster. So today, the same concept is still in place. It's just used at a much larger scale. And there is an OTA for, I mean, I say everything, but there's an OTA, there's a lot of different things. And you see a lot of non-traditional contractors, solopreneurs,
Yeah.
nonprofits, even
I get
individuals working
Mhm.
as subs on these OTAs. And what businesses tend to like about the most is the terms of the contract are negotiable. So what you're looking for out there, just kind of on the open market, you see a broad agency announcement on sam.gov, for example, bust it open, take a look. It might be an OTA and it might be a longer term length. It does operate by a consortium model, but the benefit to the government is flexibility, speed, and access. So it gets them their needs met a whole lot faster. So with the with the priorities of the new administration wanting to streamline acquisition and get it done, OTAs have kind of been a growing industry, and even prior to this administration, because they went from 1.8 billion in 2016 to over 18 billion just last year. So
Yeah.
that's the rapid rate that these AI solutions and the new things are being developed under these OTAs behind the scenes, not in USA spending, not to my knowledge anyway. I've never seen one in there.
Well, I'll also say in the recent years, they've actually added a third type. So you have your research OTA, which is your early stage research and development. You have your prototype, which is building of the prototype. That's the most common. But now you have a production OTA. And the production OTA is your full production after successfully creating the prototype.
Ah, that mhm. The production
So
OTA.
natural phases. So kind of like a suburb, but not. So it's a quick way for you to for non-traditionals and essentially to get through and start selling their products and their ideas to the government. And who won't know most uses OTAs is the DoD.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
account for most of that budget. Yeah,
they're most of the budget. So it's a DoD thing. So know your target agency.
absolutely, and know how they can buy from you too.
Mhm.
Because if your skill set is lending to any of these missions we talked about today, um, these funding mechanisms probably apply to you. And if you need help figuring out which one, reach out to us, reach out to your local Apex, reach out to whoever you need to reach out to, but just don't sleep on it for the love of everything good.
And just know that there's a million places where you can look for SIBRs. Everyone has an idea of something. You have what we call a proof of concept. So your idea is like, I have an idea. This is what I really want to do. I think it would make a difference. I could make a change. How do I do it? Well, do I need an engineer? Do I need this? Do I need that? All of that comes together if you really do believe that this is something that you can take to the government and that they would be interested in. And you write that white paper and you put together your idea on paper, your proof of concept. This is what I believe, um, and I'm going to prove it to you that I think that this is something that we can do and that I can do. And they will fund you and say, okay, cool, that sounds interesting. Here's, 50,000, 250,000. Show me something that I can work with that shows that this is something that's realistic.
Mhm.
Come to the table with something. At that point in time, that's your phase two. Well, now you have full development. If you get 2.2 million in funding, now you're talking about hiring engineers, you're talking about hiring, DevSecOps. It depends what you're building, but really taking what you thought in your mind and creating an actual prototype of it.
Mhm.
The least fancy one, of course. Um, but the very minimal, like that's amazing. Like how many people have an idea and just like, how do I even fund it? Well, the government will fund it for you. It's all about you building. That's essentially what the whole point of the seed. So having that ability and learning SBIRs, signing up for SBIRs, get on SBIR.gov, look up. The other one is NASA SBIR, SBIR.nasa.gov,
DoD.
seed.nih. I think they have that one too. Vulcan card is my favorite. That's for SOCOM.
Mhm.
Challenge.gov, DIU has their own SBIR funding. They get tons of funding and they give out tons of SBIRs and STTRs and grants for those that are looking to innovate. There's so many, your local consortium or your, innovative groups, they all support in that regard. Or any works company, Defense Works, AF Works, there's a million works.
That's a practical tip too. There's a lot of them. So your first task, if you're interested, is identify the right program. If you're developing a brand new tech idea and need R&D funding, SBIR or STTR might be your best bet. If you already have a prototype or product and you see a direct government application, an OTA, often via a consortium or a BAA on SAM, a targeted solicitation, could fast track you into a project. So do your homework on which agencies align with your technology. And then you won't see the SBIRs on SAM.gov. So like Natasha said, make sure you check the SBIR, each agency's SBIR website for those. But the OTAs, when they're opening, you will see them on SAM posted as broad agency announcements. Otherwise, there is, it's not my list, but there is, they call it the most robust list of OTAs on the internet. There are so many on that list. Like, I'm not even done thumbing through half of them. So I encourage you, look that up, look up OTA consortium list on Google, and I believe it starts with an A. If I can find it, I will post it in the comments of this episode. Proposal prep. This is sort of where you come in. So, but whether it is an SBIR proposal or an OTA white paper, quality counts. So highlighting now that phase 1 is competitive. You are going to be one of many.
Right.
And it's more or less like a solicitation process, if you will, where a lot of folks are going to be eliminated. And then what typically happens, Natasha, with the finalists? Are there orals? How does that go? How does the event?
I love an oral presentation. So they usually give you a PowerPoint presentation so that you stick to the template, and they'll tell you, it'll give you an idea of what they want you to put so they don't leave you in the blind. But essentially they want you to talk about your marketing. They want to talk about your commercialization. You gave them a quick snip of ideas on the white paper because it was probably like 1 page allowed or 2 pages max. Not enough to really give it everything that you need and want to say. But if they felt it was a good idea, you're going to have an oral presentation. And then you'll be able to either show up or do it virtually. But in most cases, you show up and you present your idea. And it's pretty cool. If chosen, then you move on to phase 2. And then phase 2 is that's where all the real work starts. You start putting on your basis of estimate, your labor categories, your pricing, all the things that you're going to need, risk margins, all the things, and the house. When you're putting, a SBIR together, some of the things that you want to focus on is the structure of it. It's all usually the same structure. It's your technical content, your technical approach, concept, any key technical capabilities or challenges you see. I always tell people, yes, we all want to say that we're perfect at everything, but the government knows we're not. To be realistic, say, we see XYZ going wrong, but this is how we mitigated it, right? So they want to see you kind of like already having those thought processes, minimizing that risk. They want you to give them data that feeds and provides the concept to the proof of concept. They want you to feed them KPIs, metrics that you've done the research, right? You're going to talk about your TRL readiness, your win themes, differentiators, why the military would find this relevant and applicable for them. Transition strategies, dual use applications, implementation processes, milestones. I always tell people phases. How long is it going to take for you to reach each TRL level to develop your prototype? How are you going to get there? There has to be phases. Don't just ChatGPT it. They'll know. Think it out and then tell ChatGPT, right? Performance metrics, success criteria. How do you know you're being successful, right? And how do you measure that? Again, the risk mitigation studies. your testing and validation. If you're coming up with, software or hardware, how are you testing it? How are you validating that it works? And then overall, where is your key personnel that's going to be helping on this? Do you have doctors? Do you have support backing from educated people, engineers, people that have experience in this work? What are your compliance requirements? We're in a world where NIST is becoming a thing. CMMC is really coming out of the woodwork. Make sure you have control issues. All your SOPs written down, classification information, and all the things. And all of that's really how you're going to come up with your business plan to feed into the I'm ready to sell it, right? You want to get your phase 2, you want to build your prototype, you want to have the whole plan together, and then you want to sell it. It's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, one mistake that I usually see folks making is we get so, especially when it's their first one, their first zipper. We got phase 1. Let's say it's $50,000 award. They're so excited for phase 1 that they don't immediately or even soon after start planning for phase 2.
Oh, yeah.
So my advice to you tonight is if you're going after SBIR, start planning for phase 2 way before you get there. I would be planning. I probably am a little bit over planned in some situations.
You would have had a phase 2 plan before you finished phase 1.
I would have had phase 2 planned before phase 1 was even planned, probably.
Like, man,
backwards from the goal, but I would say that's
not a bad thing.
That's a best value takeaway, just say.
I minimize risk because I overthink it.
Yes, I totally do. I make it harder than it has to be because I overthink it. Before we jump into our conclusion, I do want to welcome our new member. Semper Reefing just became a new member of the channel. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on tonight, feel free to drop your comments in the chat and we will post them up on our screen. So as far as recapping, innovation in government contracting, like this looks like a lot of different things. It could be the technology that you're building. It could be new way to do something. It could be, just look into it and roll it out before you just say, oh, that isn't for me, because there are so many different just SBIR topics alone. All over the place. One that we haven't talked about tonight that I will mention, shameless plug for challenge.gov. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of things. Excuse my dog. He's old and grumpy. If you guys can hear him. But challenge.gov has a lot of smaller bite-size problems that they want to solve, which is also innovation. And I think Natasha mentioned Vulcan. There's a lot of cool stuff in there too.
Oh, I love
it. You guys have plenty of research to do. I want to see, do we have any questions before we head out? And if you enjoyed tonight's deep dive, be sure to check out our website for more resources, subscribe, tap the bell, comment. Those are all very free ways that you can support us to continue to make great content that will help you get ahead of the game in government contracting.
Yes, so.
Any comments, any questions before we take off tonight? I don't see, you guys are so quiet.
They're overwhelmed by so much data.
It is. It was a lot. And it's not the most exciting topic in the world.
It is if you want to make money. I don't know what y'all not excited about.
People like money.
Tell me I got an idea. You're going to give me money. I'll come up with a lot of ideas for some money. What to do? I'll find somebody to do it. Hold up. All I'm saying is it's a great time to be alive.
It is. And this is more accessible than ever now. Whether you're a 2-person startup with a big idea or an agency manager, with a solution, there's probably a program out there to connect you with the right partner and funding. So have a collaborative spirit. I think that's sort of like,
oh, look at her. She said collaborative spirit. Yes. I'll leave you with a fun tale. I worked with a company who did really fun drones. They did some really amazing technology with their drones, and it was the first of its kind. And they didn't know really what to do. And so they were like, hey, listen, could you help with SBIRs? So for SBIR, we work on phase 1. They're like, okay, I have, all these people that I can support and help as long as I have money, because, people want to get paid, right? The white paper together, instantly has an oral presentation, works out perfectly, gets phase 2. Can't believe it. They're like, oh my God, I got phase 2. $2.2 million in 24 months. Has to develop that phase 2. Does. With the help, I think they had to give a certain percentage also to a university.
Yes.
So they got, they developed it, they built it and they were so excited because that's $2 million. They had people working on this prototype. Hit phase 3. They have currently 7 government contracts with the Navy and Air Force.
Wow.
And that happened in a matter of 4 years. And now they're selling it.
Very nice.
Because they have so much contracts and so much money. So now they're selling it for a lot. So it's just one of those things where, it was just an idea. They didn't have to put any money towards it. The government paid for the whole thing. And it was such an amazing, amazing victory. So that can be you. Quite literally.
That would be a great experience, even just to witness too, I must say. Even if it's not happening to me, I get so excited for those that it is,
Because I'm just like,
that goes into this stuff. So yeah, we're gonna celebrate the heck out of that for sure.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, guys, you guys are super quiet. You have no questions, so we will go ahead and call it an evening. We are, before I hesitate to even say it out loud, we are going to make our very best effort to be back to a weekly schedule. So we hear you. We
know you missed us. We missed you too.
I did miss you guys very much. But there's so many topics, like there's just not enough time in one episode to talk about all the things that are happening. So we're going to break it up, weekly episodes. We will either be live or maybe we're going to pre-record and stream, but either way, it'll be weekly again. So
what are we talking about next week?
Next week, let me look at the calendar. Let's see what we have next week.
You can tell I never look at the board.
I usually have I know I do all this planning on our Monday board that we share. The events planned out, all of the steps, everything done, and including the summary and who's really gonna and she
I see it the 5 minutes before we have to get on. I'm like, what are we talking about?
At least I try. Okay, so there are a few, and those of you who are with us, if you want to vote on what to talk about next week, we have 2 options up. Understanding the small business rule of 2 and how to use it. Or target the right IDIQs and GWACs and win your fair share of task orders. We know there's not many channels talking about winning task orders, so.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the second one.
I'm going to turn that light off a little bit.
The second one, unless someone votes against me, but since I'm the only one voting, I'm saying 2.
So you're going for the IDIQs. All right.
Task orders. Let's talk about it. Not right now.
About it. All right. So that'll be our next week's episode then. You got it. Yeah. That'll be the 20. Oh, wait a second. We're going to have to pre-record the 25th episode. I will be traveling. So we'll record that on Monday and send it live.
That is fine.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Then you will get your wish.
Yay.
All right. Then we'll do rule of 2 when we return after the top of the month. Guys, we only have, can I just celebrate the fact that we only have less than 2 weeks left in Q4 and we made it. We made it. And I would be remiss if I didn't say congratulations to you, to us, to our clients. How many wins this quarter?
7 so far.
7 wins this quarter.
We have won about $40 million for our clients in the past 2 weeks. It's been crazy.
So incredibly excited. At least one of those clients was a first-time bidder. It was their very first time getting a government contract. It was their very first time even wanting to go after a government contract, but the work was perfect for them. And they were like, well, what do we do now? So we did, and we submitted, and it was a heavy lift. It was a team effort,
It was
but
actually 2.
they knocked it out. 2
There
back to back.
It was 2 back to back because, Michael loved him to death. He didn't even have a
Right.
really, like, he just came in and he was just like, "I'm gonna do it," and he did. He did an amazing job and called and was like, "Is this my name?" Like, they're saying my name. Won $6 million on his first try.
So we say that to say that the hard part starts after the award because now it's time to perform. So
Mhm. Very much
whether
so.
you're going after non-traditional funding, whether you're going after contracts matters less. Getting the work is really just the sales process. Where the rubber hits the road is how good you are at what you do. So
Yep.
make sure you have your back office in order. That's very, very important. And happy contracting out there, guys. Until next week.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.